So in this video I will talk about what I call permaculture 2.0. Maybe it's a bit ambitious as a term. But the idea is that in classical permaculture we talk about function a lot, elements which are multifunctional, how to develop one function, how to really focus and specialize on developing the best feature, the best function for your farm. So that's really the focus in classical permaculture. Bill Mollison talked about schedule, a lot about schedule. Schedule is the vision of function in space. For example, the same spot could see over time different function happening. In nature, you could have certain animals which come on the spot. At another time of the day, other animals will come to eat, to drink, to hunt. So a location will have different function applied to this spot. So, okay, but that is not very much used, I would say, in permaculture. It's more a concept, natural concept, schedule. What I would like to show in this video is how important is to pass from function to schedule to process. Process is a series of steps to a goal. And it's a dynamic. The time dimension is there in this concept of process. If you see now all the companies, when they want to set up a complex ecosystem, complex system, they will do what we call operational processes or business processes, and this will drive how we develop an activity in a company. We'll not talk about a function. That's very antique vision. We'll not talk about how to implement this screen or this application specifically for one function. What we will talk about, what we'll try to develop, is really a process which is transversal to the company and which involves different activity, different business, different responsibilities. And I think that permaculture 2.0 is really going to this notion of processes. And I will try to show why trying to focus on function and optimizing function, maybe we will, it will be to the detriment of optimization of a process which is much more, which has much more value addition. With a business process, operational process, we will really mine the value in all the steps of an activity, and this is really important as well to in a point of view and perspective of having a yield, having a result, because if you have business process, the end goal is to produce, to sell, to whatever. So it's really a focus on the full chain of steps to arrive to a result. So I will develop that in this video. So to illustrate the difference between function and process, I will use biochar. Biochar is charcoal which has been charged with a nutrient. If you go on the internet and try to find information about how to make biochar, you will find thousands of videos with very smart and very different way to do biochar, with smart equipment, smart way of producing biochar. Usually the best practices is that you have a kind of recipient, and inside you have a closed recipient. Here you put wood or any kind of material to burn, and inside, which is a closed recipient, you have your wood, and this will burn without oxygen and will create biochar. And at the end you have produced, for example, 10 liters of biochar. That's a function, how to develop a function to make biochar. Okay, so that's what a function would be done, used by permaculture to arrive to a certain end result. And in biochar you will use it to improve your soil. Now let's consider more process perspective. If you take, if you see the Native American, South America in the Amazon, how they have improved the soil with, I don't know if you heard about Terra Preta do Indio, the black earth of the Indian, where a large part of the Amazon basin were which is initially poor, and the soil in the tropics is poor because it has been washed away and degraded for millions of years. So this poor soil, with the help of biochar, will find again fertility because of the texture of the biochar, improving the drainage for when it's clay, and reducing the drainage when it's sand, having a lot of cavities to make an habitat for microorganisms, to reduce the washing of the nutrients, etc. So how did this civilization, which is a civilization which improved the soil over time, what was the, how did they make this biochar? How did they improve the soil? So they would arrive in the place, and they were kind of not nomadic, but they would move in the forest. Every time they would go in a new place, they will burn the spot of the forest, not a big area, but a smaller area. They will burn to clean it, to get rid of the snakes, of the tarantula, all to scare all the animals, dangerous animals. They would do cooking. They would cook. They would do ceramic. They were really into ceramic making. And all this activity, what it would produce charcoal. And then what? They would use this charcoal maybe to filter water, because over time they start to see that the water in the Amazon, if you store it with a lot of organic matter, it could create pathogens, etc. So charcoal could be used to filter the water. As well, when you have charcoal and you urinate on charcoal, it will suck all the urine and prevent the development of pathogen, and the same for excrement, etc., etc. Same for the feces, etc. As well, they would see that if you put the rest of food in the charcoal, as well, the charcoal would take that and make some adjustments, so to clean as well the place. So charcoal would become a kind of a bed for all your residue. Human residue could be feces or excrement or the food remain. By doing that, what they would produce biochar, because they would charge the charcoal with nutrients. And they happen to see that in the place where they store this biochar, this charged charcoal, if they would plant stuff there, it would grow very good, because full of nutrients, and charcoal giving the good structure to the soil. So they would start to understand that, okay, biochar is a really value addition to densificate the production, agriculture and production of food. So in this system, we don't have a function, we have many functions. We have cleaning, we have cooking, we have ceramic, we have creating hygiene in the site. And the end result of that is that we produce biochar as an end result. Okay, it's a sub-product. It's not the it's not the goal. Like in the function, it was the goal to create biochar. Here is not the goal. Here is a sub-product, meaning that we could consider that the time, the span, the resource we spend, the time we spend doing that is considered as zero, because it's just a natural sub-product derived from the process. And if we say that permaculture is mimicking nature, we could see that the way these people were living were very natural. They need to clean their space, they need to cook, they need to create a function for their habitat. Huh? So they have it's a natural process which creates a residue, and this residue is used on another process, which is a process of producing food. So by mimicking nature, mimicking this kind of natural way of living, we would create sub-product can be used, recycled, and used by other process. So now, instead of to try to optimize the function of creating biochar, now if you focus on optimizing the process which will produce biochar, then you have a material for optimization which is much larger, which is more globally. First, this will be there will be no effort to do that, quasi no effort. It's an emergence. It's something which will you will not spend a lot of time to do that, and you will start to optimize each step to have a global system which is really designed for the maximum of production in terms of cleaning, cooking, ceramic, and biochar production. So you can imagine that the end result of this kind of optimization is much larger, much more important, like the end result in trying to optimize the function. So for example, cleaning, okay, if I want to clean a specific spot, I will make it in a way that I will try to, when I make fire, I will, for example, make a pit. So when I will put my wood, the brushes, the branches, etc., that I cut, I want to remove, I will make in a way, I will make this cleaning in a way that it will produce a lot of charcoal, which is the best for biochar. The lack of oxygen mainly. Cooking, now I use gas, but sometimes when I have to cook something long, a ragu, something which needs a lot of time, I don't know, bread or whatever, I will use oven, I will use stove with wood, and then I can produce charcoal. Ceramic, I don't do it yet, but I could imagine I could do it. If I would like to really, let's say, optimize this process, I would do ceramic. But in a larger process, in my way of living, maybe I don't need really to do ceramic for the time being. It's not my priority. So I will optimize only the process without ceramic. And then when I produce charcoal, I will charge this charcoal with the same kind of nutrients, urine, the rest of kitchen, etc. To do that. And I will really try to optimize this process and to adapt my way of living in order to have this process really well driven. And I will have a biochar, not spending a lot of time to focus on that. So once you have defined your process, you have a good picture of the existing process, how you do things, what are the steps, the flows between the steps. Three things will happen. First thing is that you can come back to the function optimization in order to better adapt to the process. For example, when I will do, if I want to cook, for example, I will maybe use a kind of stove which has the capability of doing a lot of charcoal. You have this stove where you have this compartment, interior compartment, so you use the stove for cooking, but at the same time you have this special compartment which allows to produce a lot of charcoal, which is well adapted to making biochar. So you start to choose the optimization of your function depending on what you want to do in the process. So that's so the process will drive how you want to optimize the function. The second thing which will happen is that you can start to orchestrate your function. For example, you can add, I will add chicken. Chicken will get the residues of the cooking, and the chicken manure will go to the compost, or maybe later to the worm tower, or maybe the chicken menu will directly go to the charging, etc. So you start to complexify your process to optimize the process. So that's a very handy way to orchestrate the monitoring of your function, adding a function, removing a function, trying to find the best set of functions. And maybe the most important aspect is that you will have something which is more permanent. Why? Because when you have the super equipment to do biochar, and you say, okay, today I will do biochar, you have this perfect stuff for that, etc. But one day you will be bored because, okay, today I want to do biochar, it's a lot of work, I have to do that, etc. I need to have a room for the stove, special stove, etc. But if you have already a process which is part of your way of living, then that's very different, because naturally you do you use the function of doing charcoal and biochar. So it's really the philosophy of permaculture is that you create a permanence, and you don't do biochar just like an intellectual challenge because you like the idea, but it's more really part of your way of living, part of your natural process, and there is no, let's say, constraint in doing biochar. It's naturally that you will do it. So you apply a kind of permanence in your way of doing stuff and optimizing your production.